So it's 2018, and what we want to do here at Superlost is we want to actually track everything we do from start to finish of how we're building this business. We've already gotten a little bit of traction because it's been a few months, and I will actually update this channel on all of the stuff we've done in the past, but we're still relatively new. We're pretty unknown, and part of what this is going to do is we're going to try to document everything we're doing, what we're buying, what materials we're using, why we're using certain things, and just learn along the way. And here's the thing. We want this to also be kind of like for anybody who's ever thinking of starting their own business and they want to see how it's done. You can watch us and learn as we learn, because we're going to make a ton of mistakes. We've made a bunch of mistakes in the past. We probably will make a million more mistakes, even on camera. This is meant to just document everything. So let's just catch you up. So in the past week, we've gotten a ton of deliveries. We're really ramping up our cold brew stuff, and so I think what we have in these packages is a bunch of bottles, but we're about to see. So yeah, the goal here is to basically show you how many boxes we've got in the past week. I really want to keep up with this more often so that we don't stack up this many in the future. So anyways, here we go. Yeah. We have some stuff to go through. Cool, so here's box number one. It's from a company called Oberk. They produce bunch of like bottles and stuff. The way we found them was because we were doing some research online, not knowing anything about where to buy glass bottles. If you really think about it, when you're like, I need to order 200 glass bottles, where do you go? I don't know. So we kind of shopped around online and we looked at different threads, and people seemed to like this one. Also, it was nice that it was pretty cheap. The first time we bought this was we bought one of these boxes, and it comes with 60 bottles. They're pretty small, 8-ounce bottles. And this one, this shipment, we got 4 of these giant boxes because we got a few hundred. Let's see what we got. Alright. Always garbage thing. Oh man. Alright, so yeah, so in here is the caps. Let's take a quick look at them. Alright, so you see right there, bottle caps. So every 12 of these, I think, costs like 50 cents. The caps are remarkably almost as expensive as the bottle themselves. The glass bottle. These stupid little things are almost as expensive. So yeah, there's all the caps in there. And then in here, we have a bunch of these boxes, which is just 12 glass bottles, and they're called the Boston Rounds. So let's just take a look at one. So they come in this like 12-pack situation here, if you can see that right. And then this is the bottle itself. It's pretty small in terms of, it's only 8 ounces. Usually in the market we see like 10 to even as high as like 18 ounces for cold brew. But here's the thing that we discussed a lot internally was, I personally don't like drinking a cold brew and then just feeling jittery and anxious all day. It's like my worst nightmare. So we decided, why not just get like a single serve 8-ounce bottle, and they're not gonna feel as like jittery, and maybe they'll associate it with good thoughts of cold brew and not bad thoughts. Anyways, so we have these 8-ounce bottles. I like them. They're, you know, brown. If you go clear, they're the same price, but I feel like brown protects from the light. It protects the liquid inside. I read a little bit about this. I don't know if it's true. Comment below if I'm not telling the truth about it. I think I am. But I think that the light actually affects how fast it deteriorates the flavor or something. So we're using these bottles. We have 4 of these boxes, so it's a lot. Right, so second box, Uline. So Uline is actually a really cool company for small businesses in general. Oh, and I should say, none of this is advertisement. I wish these people were paying me. We don't get paid by anybody. The only reason I'm saying these names out loud is because, listen, we didn't know what we were doing when we started this, and I wish I had some sort of resource online that would say like, hey, this company does a lot of shipping materials for cheap. So listen, I'm in no way loyal to Uline, but they seem to be pretty good about, you know, having pretty cheap shipping materials. I actually don't remember what I got in this one, but let's just open it up and see. Alright. Oh, okay. So it's the shrink bands. So these shrink bands are, for anybody not familiar, including myself, I didn't ever realize this. A shrink band is meant to protect the consumer from anybody going into the bottle. It's like basically those like tamper-proof things. So let me just show you what they look like, because I haven't even seen them. Yeah, so. Okay. Let's see how this works. Oh, okay. All right, I see how it works. So yeah, it comes with these like thin plasticky material, right? And this goes on top of the bottle. So let me grab a bottle so I can actually show this. So we have a bottle here, and we have a cap. Okay. So if we were to sell it just like this, people can technically get into it, right? I mean, people could just open it up. And so as a consumer, I feel like it doesn't really give you peace of mind. Hopefully we got the right size of these. But anyways, you put these things on top, and then with a hair dryer, which I don't have to go buy one, buy a hair dryer. You basically just like blast this with heat, and then the shrink wrap like tightens up around this neck of the bottle, and then it makes it so that it's very obvious if somebody opened it. You can just see, you're like, oh, somebody opened my bottle. Shrink bands, they're called shrink bands. I didn't know what these things were called ever. You don't really think about these things when you're just buying a product off the shelf, but you know, you have to think of these stupid little plastic things. So anyways, shrink bands. We got them at Uline because they just do a bunch of shipping materials too. I think they sell bottles, but we got a better price on Obert, which is and if I'm saying it wrong, I'll put it in the comments below. The Uline shrink wraps though were cheaper, so we got these. Cool. So we got a pack of, I feel like we got a few thousand of these. And so yeah, these are just meant for protecting the bottles we just showed you. All right, last package. So this company is called Sticker Mule, and we've used them for our labels that we use on the cold brew. Why do we use them? Honestly, we tried a few sticker companies for the labels, and either I didn't think the quality was high enough, or the quality was high, but it was just very expensive. To be honest, I just went on Reddit and I looked at people who were using current companies for their stickers, for the labels, and a lot of people recommended Sticker Mule. Again, I'm not paid by any people. I wish I was paid by these people. If you want to pay me, let me know. I will definitely talk about you guys more. But yeah, Sticker Mule for now is what we're using. Could change. But in here, I'm not really sure what we got, but oh, yeah, of course. Okay, so we got the labels for said bottles that we keep talking about. So the first labels here that we're going to talk about are the nutritional facts label. This is a requirement by the FDA to put on bottles, and again, it's one of those things that we didn't know anything about. We had to do a lot of research online. The FDA actually has their guidelines online on how to label everything. You have to use an exact font, it has to be an exact size. We have our nutritional label here with all the requirements, the serving size. You have to put it in milliliters as well. So we have it in ounces, 8, and then milliliters, 237. In terms of the calorie counts, you might be asking yourself, how did you come up with the calorie counts? We can't afford to go to an expensive lab and find out what the exact calorie counts are for just coffee. But so what we did instead, which is completely compliant, is we just looked at our competition and what research has been done already for us and seeing what calorie counts they use. So what we did was basically bought all of our competing bottles of cold brew, including some of the big ones like Starbucks and stuff like that, because you know those people are doing like all of the right research and labs and everything for it. And for just coffee with nothing else in it, which is what ours has currently, our cold brew, it's just coffee and water, that's it. There's 0 cal. That's what we've seen online almost everywhere. Whenever we've seen a calorie of 5 per serving, it was either because it was a much larger bottle, or more importantly, they were adding some sort of sweetener, or they're adding some sort of milk, or they're adding some sort of like flavoring or something, and that adds to the calorie count. But for the most part, what we saw for just straight up coffee, water, 0 cal, just like water. So in terms of our ingredients, we put water, number 1 ingredient, and then single origin Colombian coffee. When we actually make the cold brew, it's just freshly roasted coffee, which is almost never done in cold brew, and then water, obviously. Bottles is recyclable, obviously, and then our website, and then another FDA requirement is you have to actually say where it's either manufactured or distributed from, because both of those places are the same thing for us, and because we are in the yellow pages, which is another thing in the guidelines, we can say just the city instead of it being like a specific address. So we have here brewed by Superlost Coffee Roasters in Brooklyn, New York. Everything's good. All right, so on to the cool stuff. So here, this is way smaller than I thought. Okay, here we have an unusable product. These labels were meant to be on our cold brew, but from just eyeballing them, they look way too small. Yeah, these are way too small. But luckily enough, we got 2 versions. This one is the right version. What we were trying to do, we were trying to see, would it look better if the design went right to the edge, or if it would look better with like a white trim. So this one, you see how the design just bleeds right to the edge, and that's what they refer to it in design or talk, I think, when it just bleeds to the edge. And then for this one, which is much smaller, as you can see, and pretty much unusable because we can't use something this small, this one has like the white trim. So unfortunately enough, this is now basically garbage. I'll find some sort of ulterior use for it, but maybe I can label the boxes. Actually, that's a good idea. So just came up with an idea. When we deliver the cold brew, what I'm gonna do now is, this is how you have to think constantly, adapt. So these are unusable for our cold brew bottles because they're too small, but we could always, when we deliver the boxes to the supermarket chains or wherever, we have the label right there, so they know what it is. Cool, sweet. All right, I'm just coming with a solution. All right, so let's just talk about these labels for a second. So we have obviously our logo there, the Superlost logo, and then we have cold brew and Colombia, so we are actually saying what region it's from. Usually not very common in cold brew. Look for yourself. Most places don't actually say where their beans are coming from. They just say cold brew. That's it. We're actually telling you it's from Colombia. So we have here single origin, fair trade organic. All certifications are online. You can actually check those out on our website. And then we have another little FDA requirement here. You have to put the actual weight of the bottle and amount on your label. So here we have 8 fluid ounces and it's 237 milliliters of liquid to consume. That's basically it. So these are our labels that'll go on the bottles, and I'm gonna actually bring one over so you can see what a finished one looks like. So this is a finished cold brew bottle for us, and with a cap. Not with the shrink wrap yet, but we will add that. You can see on the top, it's right here, the logo, and then on the back, nutritional facts. What we're planning on doing for our next round of designs, because this is just like version 1, we're gonna make it kind of like more wraparound, because right now it looks a little crude. It's just like a sticker on it, but what we really want to do is have it more wrap around all of this, and then we want to add a barcode as well. Just thinking in the future in terms of like, if it's in a supermarket that scans things with a barcode, then that would be useful. In terms of retail, so what we are planning on retailing these for is about $3, maybe, yeah, $3. I think most cold brew on the market, from the research we did, usually range from $3.50 on the really low end, and then $4.50 on like the higher end organic stuff. We're organic and single origin and fair trade and everything, but we want to basically reflect the size it has, so it's a smaller size, so we don't want to basically price at a larger thing just because we could match their pricing. Now, like, we're gonna actually give you what is actually good value, so $3 we're thinking for this. That's basically the story of this bottle and all of the stuff that we had to buy with it. So in terms of the future videos that we want to do on this channel, and my goal honestly is to start off with posting maybe 1 a week, I just want to run you guys through everything we do, even if it's as boring as just unboxing a bunch of this stuff. I think it's useful for somebody who's starting off a business to see where we're getting our stuff from. It's going to change with time, I'm sure, as we start getting more volume, or, you know, however this turns out. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little lengthy, but I hope it was kind of informative, I hope it was useful. Hope you guys subscribe, like, do whatever you need to do to follow our journey along, and hopefully, you know, we get big and you guys can see the progression of how to get there, because right now we are nobodies with no money and no resources and no experience in this market ever. We've never worked in coffee, we've never done packaging, we've never done any of it. So join the ride with us, because we're just learning as we go. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.